All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the alaracanfieldshow, the Awaken Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you are new to me, to my show, to my channel, please do subscribe if you're watching live on YouTube or on demand. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring forward to you these wonderful speakers and guests who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their techniques, their healing, their activations, etc., so that we can all thrive, so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And so, for me, it is all about raising our frequency, expanding our consciousness, being kinder to each other, to ourselves, the collective, the planet. There's so much going on, and we can all use a little bit of support. So I'm hoping that you are receiving the support through all of these shows. So today, today, if you are here with us live or on the replay, I'm so excited because my good friend Kristen Numen is back with us, and we're going to be talking about how to step into your full potential spiritually and egoically. And so some of what we're going to discuss today is about how to interpret your awake state. We're going to learn about feeling more high vibrational on the daily, so day to day, all day, how to trust your intuition and inner guidance system, how to speak to your body and get results, and of course, so much more. And for those of you who may not know Kristen, she's been with us many times, like I said, and we love having her here. It's always a high vibe call, always fun. We always learn something new. And Kristen is known for being a multifaceted channel and healer. Using all of her psychic senses, she brings forward whatever is in your highest good at the time of the session. So some abilities include speaking with your spiritual team to assist in living your best life, mediumship, Kundalini. She's a Kundalini Reiki master and teacher. She's also a Rahanni Celestial Healer, a spiritual activator and teacher. Kristen has a passion for healing others on multiple levels. With the ability to scan a person and animal's energetic field, Kristen can bring forward information to assist on the physical, emotional, mental, energetic, and spiritual levels. And Kristen's goal is to give you the tools as directed by your spiritual team and loved ones to live your best life and experience joy and health on a new level. So please join me in welcoming Kristen back to the show. Kristen, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here as always. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm excited because there's always so much to talk about, but at the same time, Kristen, I also want you to take a moment and share a little bit about what's going on. So people may not know your health journey and healing journey. I'm going to call it that, health journey and healing journey. So if you could share a little bit, and then we'll get into the meat of the conversation.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I actually messaged Alara this morning to keep myself accountable because you know how easy it is to be vulnerable, especially on a large scale, right? So I sent the email and then was like, oh, now I'm committed to it. So about me, I've been here several times. So now that you've seen me several times, it's really time for you to know where I come from. It's one thing to be able to teach it, but when we teach from our vulnerability, I heal as you heal as I heal. So when we heal ourselves, we heal one another and we ignite more of that light within one another. So let's start from right now, and then I'll actually go backwards a little bit because I've had some intense things and some traumatic things that happened in my life that molded me to where I am today. We all have different patterns in our lives, right? Different things that make us who we are. And then we go on this journey of healing and navigating all of that. So for, I'll say about 30-ish years, although I feel I've had this heart issue my entire life because my guides have showed me different scenarios that happened when I was a child. I have tachycardia of the upper and lower chambers, which makes my heart rate go over 120 beats per minute, as well as PVCs, or skipped beats, they're called. I am 44 and I've had my fourth surgery almost 2 months ago, fourth heart surgery. A lot of fours, 444. So I'll throw that out there. I received, it came to me all of a sudden when I was talking about my chart with a friend, my Chiron, all of that. Got a lot of feedback from my guides to go forward with this surgery. Every time I've had surgery, it takes about a week for my heart goes numb, and then it starts doing what it's doing. And every time something was ablated or burned or taken care of, it moved to a different location. So I have a cardiac specialist who is phenomenal, went to the heart center here. He kept me overnight. He successfully ablated the area where my PVCs are, because he said, let's take care of just this, not touch your tachycardia since you've had issues with it. So I totally trust him. So he tried a cryo ablation technique, which is different than the other techniques I've used. So it was successfully ablated. Fast forward about a week and everything came back. It moved to a different area. So when I went back to the office a month later to make sure that there's no more swelling of the heart, all of that is healed and everything, I was in a really bad episode. And I could hear, you know how you can hear your doctor when they get up to the door, you know, when they're shuffling and getting your papers. And I just heard him say, it's back. It moved. And he walked in and he looked like he saw a ghost. And he goes, Kristen, you are my unicorn. So never has he seen where you ablate one and then it moves over in a different spot. And it has different symptoms that actually come with it. This was another awakening for me, because I'd been hiding behind my classes and my sessions. Oh, I'm sharing, I'm being vulnerable, because my guide said, be out there, share your story. But I hid behind that, thinking and feeling that it was being out there. It was to an extent. So I was celebrated by my guides for doing that, but now it was time to step forward even more. So with that, I had to go through a grieving process, because I had to grieve the fact that I was actually really excited about this. My husband and I were planning on traveling, because I can't travel at this time because of my heart situation. Still and always will be on a journey to heal. But that is the current heart story. But there were other traumas that occurred in my life as well. So you know where I come from. So my origin story, the way that I work is, it is always good to have, you know, you've heard of evidential mediumship or validation. So I get validating evidence in all that I do, because validating evidence is important. So that way you're like, oh, okay, there's no way she could know this. And then the message comes forward, right? From guides, with mediumship, animals, communication, all of that. So my higher self came to me one morning and said, Kristen, you weren't, by human standards, you weren't meant to be here. And I'm like, well, I know that because my mom, who's not here today, I love you, Mom. She's on an adventure today. My mom had a half a pinky nail of an ovary just for hormonal purposes, and was told she could never get pregnant again. I have two older sisters. They're over 10 years older than I am. And then she got pregnant with me. So that part I knew. And my higher self, Azra, who is a seraphim angel, had said, talk to your mom. There's something important. So I called Mom. I said, Mom, Azra's telling me I wasn't meant to be here by human standards. And Mom's like, how would you know that? So I received permission to talk about this, because this is healing level, not only for my own family, my mother, myself, but everybody else. So due to other circumstances, you know, my mom had two other older daughters. And at that time, it was unheard of in your 40s to have a child. So my mom went to another town to have an abortion. So as she was sitting there ready to have an abortion, my dad called. There's no cell phones at that time. It was 1979. So my dad called and said, nope, let's keep the baby, come home, come home. So here I am. So that was like the big circumstance, because Azra had a message to tell me. And I said, what was the point of you telling me that? Now, this was a year ago I was told that. I didn't find out why I was told that until recently after my surgery, because my heart beats at a different frequency. They said, Azra said, I needed to tell you this so that you would trust this message that comes through. Your heart beats for the spirit realm. You have your seraphim heart there. That's why it doesn't beat for the frequency there. That's why they ablate one spot and it moves to another spot. 4 times that happened. So they needed to tell me all these things. But there's so much trauma, you know, that can happen in our life. And I don't never want you to dwell on it, because we can always lift ourselves up and pick ourselves up from all of that. There's so many things that occurred in my life, whether it was bullying. I was bullied at a young age by someone close to me, and then other, you know, teachers, things like that, and friends as well, that made me feel not good enough, not worthy enough. Throughout there feels unworthy, all that kind of stuff. So that's part of my story. And I am so proud and grateful. This is where the gratitude and everything comes in to now. And then other things had occurred. Something had happened when my husband and I were really young. He's working at a big company and then was associated with someone there that he trusted. And because he trusted that person, he wound up being pulled under and was charged with a felony. And that, to me, I was the goody two shoes in school. I was always, my nose was clean, everything. I was a good girl. So when things like that happen, it's like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? That's always a thing. What are people going to think? And then going on this journey was absolutely a blessing and amazing, because my husband and I are closer. He has his own business now and is successful. Deeper relationship with spirituality, with my friends, with myself. And that is what this is all about. So I wanted to share that and put that out there so my partial story, where I came from. So I thank you for listening to all of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And, I know that you're going through a lot, right, with the surgeries and with your heart. And so just you sharing with us, it's so important. And it helps us to have that greater connection with you as well, right? And,
Yes.
we don't always know, I'm not going to call it a struggle or challenges, but we don't always know what people are going through, right? And so it's always so important to, when you're talking to somebody, be nice, right? Be compassionate, be nice, because you never know what they're going through. But look at you, you're doing amazing. You look amazing. Your energy is so high, and wonderful. So, you've got this, and your guides are with you. Your support team is with you. You have a wonderful doctor. So doing both, right? The energetic plus doing the medical, treatments, which you need to do, right? Yeah. So you're balancing both. And so that's amazing. And so I'm so glad that you're here with us and continuing to do the work that you do, because you are amazing at what you do, and your talents and gifts are needed as well, right?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And so I did forget at the beginning, because we are going to be taking live caller questions. A lot of people have already raised their hand, which is great. But if you'd like to, you can definitely raise your hand. We will take some. We probably will not get to everybody. We'll take some for sure. And so, having that support system that you have, having that connection with your guides that you have is so important. And so part of what we're going to talk about today is around, that connection, the communication, the interpretation, and all that wonderful stuff. So today, we're talking about how to step into your full potential spiritually and egoically, can't say it, but egoically. So that's about that balance, right? So stepping into your full potential on all levels, right? Not just spiritually, but here, at this level that we're at as well. So let's talk a little bit about the wake state, right? How to interpret our wake state or awakening state, or however you want to call that. But, I want everyone to know that we are all conscious beings. Okay. So we are all consciousness. We all just have different degrees of consciousness, right? And so the more that we continue to be on calls like this and do our own inner work, you can't just be on these calls and expect to have transformation and change. I'm sorry. Yeah. I would love that, but we have to continue to do our inner work as well. But we are all, awake. I hate that word actually, but we are all awake. We're all conscious. We're all growing. We're all on a journey, right? And so part of that means interpreting, what is that? What does that feel like? What does that look like? How do I make sense of it? Right? So that alone is going to be a big topic, Kristen. So I know we have a few things on our agenda today, but that alone is going to be a huge topic for all of us to talk about and, understand, right?
Yes, which is why I always say and so much more, because we go in so many directions, and that's what makes it so fun.
Absolutely. So where do you want to start with that?
So how to interpret your wake states. So we always talk about dreams, right? And dream interpretation, which is valuable and important. But what my guides have taught me as well, because it's all about bringing heaven to earth. We're here, be here, bring it here. So Lola's going to go crazy now, my dog, because she's got 2 hours till she eats. So now she's got the noshies. So, but, and remember always, this isn't about worthiness. This is about frequency. What frequency are you at to communicate with Yeshua, with Buddha, with mediumship, all of that? It is not one is better than the other. There is no one above you or below you. Never. It is not about worthiness. So I wanted to put that out there as well. So the other thing too is releasing any and all expectations of how you think this should look like. Because how it looks for me, if you're here and you're resonating with me, you should really have or might have some similarities with me then, yes? So that's what that's all about. When you resonate with someone, you have these similarities. That's why it's so important. And this is such a wonderful collective at the Alara Show to be able to come here and collectively talk about all of this from different perspectives. So let's release any and all expectations about how you feel that this should look like, because it's all about trusting, and this is co-creating with our guides to receive messages. So in our wake state, we receive synchronicities, right? So we receive the numbers and the different signs and all of that, but it's so much more, because I actually, and I didn't send this to Alara because I just thought of this beforehand, and hopefully you can see it, but do you see this moth? Give it just a moment. You see this moth? So this moth has shown up. This is the third time I've seen this moth. And when I see it, you know, when you see your signs, you can feel it, whether it's in your heart space. When I saw this moth, I felt it in my guts, because every time I've seen this moth, something Kristen feels would be unfavorable happens. And I called my sweet group of friends. This is why community is so, so important. Community for your human self, for you to, talk about your humanness, to talk about your woo-woo self, your spiritual self. It's so important, because I called my friends freaking out, saying, okay, something's going on here, because I saw this moth at my friend's house because I was watching her dog. And the first 2 times I saw this moth, something happened to my daughter. Not terrible, but it was giving me a heads up. That's what it's doing. So it is spirit interacting with me and saying, hey, let's get you in the state ready to receive this lesson so that you can glide through it effortlessly and easily. And I always say, I love that everything is working out best case scenario. We're going to talk later about this, but if you know me, you know that I am big with affirmations, big. So this moth, I had to navigate that. So it was at a friend's house, and what happened was the dog bit into an ant bait trap. So it freaked me out. Oh my gosh, he's getting sick. The dog's having digestive issues. Everything turned out just fine. The dog was absolutely fine. But it was a heads up. So I was in the space to be able to navigate it and not, they were helping me not freak out as much. But again, we're human, so never be too hard on yourself. So I knew instinctively in my gut, even though this is only the 3rd time I've seen this moth, I knew what it meant, because that's my inner guidance, right? That's my intuition, that nudge. Where do you get it? The head, the heart, or the gut? The moth came to me right through the gut. So that's one of the ways that I interpreted what was going on. And also journaling. Journal your patterns. What's going on? What's going on astrologically? I highly suggest. I am not an astrologer, but I am working towards that. And I actually get things now in my reading that's with astrology, and I'll have to look up what's the first house, what's the second house. And it's just so much fun, because it's stuff I don't know the nitty gritty of. So it's fun for myself as well as who I'm doing the reading for. But when you know your patterns and what energies astrologically and everything that are out there, it helps you to navigate with more grace and ease. It is a process. Never, ever be hard on yourself if you're in a funk, because I've been in a funk, but I can get myself out of it a lot faster now. And I'm very grateful, and I give myself love and gratitude all the time that I know and have the awareness and mindfulness that I can get myself out of there faster than I could before.
Absolutely. And that's the key. So, we do go into funks all the time, everybody, it's normal. Then how do we get out of the funk and raise our vibration again? So what's important is to have that daily practice of what do you do to keep your vibration high? What do you do when your vibration goes down? Because it will. You have to get that, it will. So what do you do to bring it back up, right? So it's key to know the number one, that it's really normal and that you can bring your vibration back up again. So how can people do that on a regular daily basis?
Yes, this is so important because, and honestly, I've shared my heart stuff. It is, I am sitting here, you know, happy and fine. My heart is pounding right now. I'm actually in an episode. I have my water and my ice pack that I always keep that no one can see because I'm all about keeping it aside so no one can see. So I can get in a funk with that. I don't feel well. I'm bringing my family down, all the different things, you know, that your head spins around in circles, all the things we do being human, right? So self-care, very important. Reset, recharge. Alara was just talking. I needed a holiday. I needed to go to my family. She knew she needed to reset, recharge, but even doing something creative, turn up the music and sing. Dance, maybe you do qigong or tai chi, moving the body, exercise, so very important. But doing things that you love and enjoy, talking to friends, family, being around children and animals, they raise your vibration as well. So being around them, being able to get things off your chest, so to speak, as well, right? Being able to just speak out there, just knowing that you're loved and supported. But dance, sing, that's my big thing. I love to go out in the garden. I turn my music up and I sing to my neighbors. They get their own little show. So, and gratitude. This is a process. I've been awakened for a little over 7 years now, 7.5 years, which doesn't seem very long, but I've done a lot of work, very intense work. And I promise you, it is all a process. I was someone that would act like the cup was half full, but in my head, it was half empty. And I didn't trust, I felt unworthy, but now I say, guides, help me navigate this. If I'm feeling a certain way and I'm having trouble getting myself out of this funk, I will ask my guides. That's the biggest thing too, because I always would forget to ask them for guidance, but then again, release any and all expectations as to how and when they're going to come through with that sign. So trust yourself. By trusting in yourself, you trust in spirit as well. We are one and the same, right? We are all interconnected. So the more you trust in yourself, again, it's a process, the more we trust in spirit and the more comes forward. So gratitude, being grateful for absolutely every little thing. So you know what? I tend to get very nauseous now with my new episodes since the surgery. I am very grateful right now that I am not. I can handle the palpitations and being a bit breathy. I'm good with that. So I'm very grateful right now that I'm not nauseous, that I get to be home and comfortable and commune and talk with all of you lovely individuals. So it's just so valuable with that gratitude. And again, please, don't underestimate talking to a friend, reaching out and being part of a group. I know it's easier when we're in school, right? School age kids being able to be around people. If you are in sports or in dance and music and all of that, and you're with like-minded individuals, find your like-minded individuals and start talking with people. Maybe you wind up messaging each other afterwards and saying, I loved your energy. I've done that. And I would say, I hope you don't think I'm weird, but I loved your energy. And I just wanted to reach out. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. And that created friendships and bonds. So very, very important. And it really does help raise your energy. I talk to my mom daily, sometimes several times a day, lucky her. And it really does lift my spirits because she gets things off her chest. I get things off mine. We laugh, we joke, we tease, and it's just amazing.
Can I just add something to that? You know,
Absolutely.
it's important to get things off your chest, and it's important to talk to people. But at the same time, please choose wisely who you're going to talk to. Because there are some people that if I talk to them, they're going to like feed the negativity. And it's like, I don't want to be negative about this. I'm trying to get this off my chest so that I can raise my vibration frequency and change my state. So yes, we want support, but we don't want people to like buy into our story and then keep feeding that story. No, it's like, get it off our chest and then think of something positive, go in the positive route, right? And, so that is important. So I don't talk to everybody about my problems. I'll be honest. There are very few people that I talk to when I have something going on. Like I can, maybe two, maybe three. Okay. Because, I don't want to go down a spiral because that's very easy for me to do. Right. So I talk to very few people and then they help me to like give me a different point of view or different perspective, and, just show me something else that's possible. Right. So please always remember that. And, they're going to uplift you and empower you, not make you feel worse, and no blaming. I mean, nothing is about blame. There's no blame. It's like, this is what I'm going through. This is the situation, whatever's happening, but it's not about blaming anybody or anything. It's about, okay, I hear you. I'm here with you. Basically, we're holding space for people, right? Allowing them to vent, allowing them to share, allowing them to feel whatever they're feeling, without adding more fire to it, if that makes sense.
Yes. See, this is why I love this so much, because other things come up, and that is such a valid point. You don't want to go into that spiral and then blaming, and it becomes a gossip session. Yeah. So, and I also do this thing called ego and soul, because you know how it's like the inner child. You don't want to shove her in there and shut her up. Like, I don't want to shut Kristen up. Sometimes I kind of want to, but I love her. I have to let her speak. So I'm going to let her speak and get it off her chest. And then I say, okay, what does my soul say? What does my higher self say? So I do ego first. I play ego and soul, or ego and higher self. And I let my ego speak. And I do this with friends too. We come over and then we talk about our human stuff, and we let our ego speak, and then we let our spirit speak. And it's just a nice high vibrational way to end that, because there's a lesson in everything, right? So why are we going to dwell and sit there? This isn't a blaming game, taking responsibility for where we are at vibrationally, and then going from there, and it can only get better.
Absolutely. And gratitude, being grateful for everything, right? So not all the good stuff, but everything. Yep. I start my morning with gratitude. I end my night when I go to bed with gratitude. I talk to my higher self every day, in the morning, at night, in the middle of the day, depending on what's going on, right? So having that constant communication with my team is very important, right? Yeah. So not the, oh, I have this problem, I have that problem, but just like, thank you for being with me. Thank you for being a part of my team. Just, that presence, right? And so, yeah, I just wanted to just really quickly, there was something else that you said, Kristen, that I wanted to emphasize. It is about, we're not stuffing away our feelings. We're not, like, we have a lot of fears. I've had a lot of fears the past couple of years. So it's like, and those fears are my inner child, right? My inner child is, has been really having a difficult time for 3 years. So honoring your inner child and saying, it's okay that you feel this way. It's okay, right? It's okay. And now what? I'm always about, okay, now what? And what's next, right? So it's like, keep moving, but acknowledging, what you are going through. So always acknowledge, there's no spiritual bypass here. There's no emotional bypass. It is about processing, but not staying in it. Right? Yes. Yes, 100%. Absolutely. And so the more that you can process, acknowledge, the easier it will be to get to that high vibrational state again. And connecting with your team, your higher self, is going to help you do that. And you talked about trust, which is so key, so key, so important. Trusting yourself, trusting your higher self, trusting God, universe, spirit, creator, trusting that everything is happening for your highest good is so important. And then trusting when you do get messages from your guides, as long as they're positive and empowering and inspiring. Yes. If they're negative and like make you feel bad, no, that's not your higher self or your team. But I'll let you add more to that, Kristen. I think that's next on our agenda. Yes.
So how to trust your intuition and your inner guidance system. Again, one of the first things I wrote on here, because I have to keep myself so I stay on track. It is a process. So remember, I shared with you that I was bullied. I was bullied from a young age. And that really made me feel unworthy. I didn't trust myself. I thought, oh, I'm wrong. They're right. Because I was the mindset at the time that anyone and everyone that's older than me, whatever they say is truth, because that's just what I knew, right? So this is such a big process. So trusting in yourself, again, is trusting in spirit. Meditation and mindfulness. So important. Meditation is so much more than, yes, you can have amazing magical experiences. You can go in the in-between and go on shamanic journeying. There's so many different things that you can do, Akashic records. But I found the most powerful for me were the ones that I learned more about myself. What emotions are coming up? What is Kristen going through right now? Acknowledging things I didn't want to look at, because there's things that you want to shut behind a door, but being able to bring things up, frequencies and emotions as well. So meditation, very powerful. And looking at the difficult things, that was really massive healing for me. I had to look at the difficult things, and I asked my guides, what is it that I don't want to see? This is shadow work, they typically call it. And that really has helped me trust more, because I can look at things and we put a fear on it, right? Like, what I shared with you today about my husband, about the bullying, I would have been a mess. You would not have been able to understand me. I would have been crying too much. And I am so grateful and proud of my growth that I didn't. So there's the gratitude that comes into that again. That's why it's so important. The way that I teach and all of that is sharing my vulnerability, so you can see this perspective where an individual is coming from. So I asked my team for direction. What am I healing now? What direction do I need to go in? Again, clues in your astrology as well. So your Chiron is the wounded healer in your chart. And I have found, because my Chiron is in my 10th house, it is how I am seen. It's public image, which explains the bullying and the shame that I've gone through. And now I'm out here. Isn't that amazing how the Chiron works? So it's the wounded healer to look in your charts and find that. It's so empowering. There's so many, again, moving parts, and again, journaling to see what your patterns are. What are your patterns during the day? I know my patterns, which helps me, again, trust my intuition and inner guidance, is I've realized that those that I'm doing readings for, those that are in my classes, they're going on a similar journey as I am. Jesus had come forward for somebody, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, Jesus is forward. And before, I didn't realize it was meant for the other person as well. Jesus would come forward for me, and then it was a message for the other person too. And I'm like, I just saw that. I just went through that. So I see all of these patterns, and I recognize them a lot sooner now. So typically it's like a day or two before having a session with someone, or a day or two before class. And I can recognize and see these patterns, which then in turn makes me trust myself more, because I'm recognizing it and I'm flowing with it. And the other thing too is never be afraid of being wrong. I didn't write this down, but this is something the guides are saying. Never be afraid of being wrong. Those who are channeling, those are like, oh, see, I can't use my inner guidance. Something's wrong with me. Never, ever worry about that. You're learning how you're interpreting spirit, right? It's our own language. We each have our own language with spirit, mediumship, all of that. So this is a process. We're always learning. I just did mediumship for my mom yesterday, because there was a pattern that, another thing, seeing in your reality, a friend of mine had made a comment. She goes, I'm so upset because a friend of mine coming to the US didn't get in. There was a problem at customs or something, because of being gay or something. So that triggered my family, who is passed, to come forward. And they said to me, ask your mom about who was murdered in her family. And someone was murdered on my mom's side of the family, a cousin, a distant cousin, for being gay. So that's another thing in reality. There's something to learn from that. It was growth, it was a realization, and it was a healing for my family as well. I shared this with my friend who had a healing with that about the situation, who in turn could share with her friend that went through the experience to help heal her as well. That's the interaction. That's all the moving parts. Trusting my inner guidance to share that. Not fully understanding what's the healing that's coming from this. And I don't know all of that yet, but I trusted myself and was verbal and told my friend, about what happened. Thank you for sharing your friend's story, because it triggered something in mine that in turn is going in its own direction of healing as well.
Yeah, and that is key. Trusting yourself, trusting the messages that you're getting, the insights that you're getting, without putting your own interpretation. Sometimes we don't understand. We just have to trust. This is what I'm getting. I don't know what it means, but hopefully it means something to you. It usually does, right? It like 99% of the time, it means something to that person right then and there. That 1% is they understand it later. Okay, so they might not be able to get it in that moment. So that's key. And so now let's talk about the body. How to speak to your body and get results. So what do you mean by results? So, I mean, like, yes, we should all be speaking to our body, asking our body, hey, body, do you want to eat this? Do you want to drink this? Do you want to exercise? Do you want to go for a walk? How are you feeling? What do you need? Absolutely. But what do you mean by get results?
So when I can't even remember how long I've been home now. I used to be a banker for 15 years. Definitely not what I was meant to do. So I was a banker for 15 years, had a very bad episode, called 911, and my husband said, I can't have you go to work anymore. It's just too much. So I went into a depression. I got more and more anxious through my depression, and everything made me anxious. The dogs are going to get out. Something's going to happen to me. All these different things spiraled. My body looked sad to me. When I looked at pictures, I didn't recognize the person looking back. I didn't have a glow to my skin. I felt very frail. And I just spiraled. So when I awakened, we all have guides that help us navigate. We have healing guides, guides that help us channel, that hold space, energy guides that can help you with clearings, all of that. So I have a guide who happens to be Horus, the Egyptian deity, who came forward, and he taught me about the law of attraction. And this is where he said, because each of us function in different ways. So again, affirmations might be key for me. It may not be the key for you. There are other things that could be the key as well. So I do affirmations. So talking to my body, I love that I get stronger and stronger with each and every day. I do what I call mindfulness exercising. So I have a lot of episodes and I'm like, I am exercising. I've talked with my doctor about this, and he's like, as long as you're not pushing yourself, because I have done that where I pushed myself and passed out. But I need to be mindful, and I'm in the moment. When you're talking to someone, you don't want your mind to go off in a different direction. You're giving them your undivided attention. You see them, and you're having a connection with them. Whatever you're doing, be mindful about it. So today I'm going to exercise my arms, and I feel so much stronger. I'm mindfully lifting the weights and feeling my muscles be stronger and stronger with each and every moment, each and every day. I say different things like, I love that my body knows what to do with food that does not serve me in perfect comfort and alignment. I love that I'm able to maintain this weight easily and effortlessly. Because I do also have body dysmorphia because of how I'm seen by other people. So always worried about gaining weight, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of moving parts with that. So I work with myself to really help my self-confidence, really love Kristen and where she's at. Because when I was in middle school, high school, you know what a shacket is? It's like a shirt that's a little bit thicker, so it's a jacket. It's a trendy thing now to call it a shacket. Well, my dad was very trendy apparently and had a plaid shacket in the 1980s and 90s that he still has to this day that I absolutely love. It's this brown plaid shacket. And I was this little kid, and he's 5'5", 5'6", and I would wear it as a shirt. you could not see my body. All you could see were my knees and down. And I was just covered in this shacket, afraid of being seen. So now I'm comfortable and confident in myself to be seen. So being more comfortable in my body, meeting myself and loving myself where I'm at, helping to cure my cystic hormonal acne was a big thing too. Guides, please help me. I can't go through this anymore. I felt like everyone was looking at it. It actually morphs your face and is very, very painful if you've had cystic acne. And I would speak to myself. And again, this links to interpreting your wake state, being a mindfulness and aware, because when I was asking my guides for help with my skin and I let it go, and didn't dwell on it and search for it and look for it. I happened to be looking for something else, and this Korean skincare stuff kept coming up. And I'm like, you want me to look at that? Big, huge yes, I got in my head. And that's when I started getting into Korean skincare, learned about gua-sha, which is a technique of draining the lymph in your face and everything. And I have cured my hormonal acne without harsh medications. So being able to interact and listen, this is where trust comes in, because you're like, oh no, I'm just making this stuff up. This can't be right. Because I went to a dermatologist, and I love my dermatologists. They are phenomenal, but nothing was working. So this, I really had to trust myself. And we always want something yesterday. I want to lose weight 2 years ago, right? I want to do this yesterday. I want it now. I want the quick fix. The quick fix is not what's going to create these beautiful habits that you get to flow with for your life. I've had to also learn, because you know how you look at pictures and it's like, I was so skinny then. Oh, look at my hair then. I wish I was like that again. You know, when you look at, I wish I was this again. Oh, I missed that. I want to be this again. That's wonderful. And love who you were in that moment, but love who you are now, because my skin tone has changed. So I was blonde for the longest time. My husband, I was talking to him and he's like, is that how you gauge time? When I was blonde, so that was how many years ago? And now I have dark hair. Nope, that was before my copper highlights. So that's how I gauge time now, is by my hair color. But when I asked my guides for help to look like my best, most youthful self, so I can feel confident and beautiful, my guides put an image in my head of my sister Lisa's wedding. My hair was dark, it was short. I was trying to grow my hair really long, did not work for me. They said, look at your they even said, look at your eyebrows, because, you know, I don't pluck my eyebrows because that hurts. I shave. So don't cringe at me, but I use a razor and I just shave. But I don't pluck my eyebrows anymore. I just let it go all woolly bully. And so they really helped me love who I see in the mirror and be more comfortable with her. And I had to allow that. It's a process. I didn't just wake up the next day, dye my hair and all of that. It was an evolution. I worked with my hairstylist with it, all these different moving parts. So this again goes with weight loss as well. Eat intuitively. I eat intuitively. I know when my body needs meat. I know when I need to go meatless for a certain amount of time. I need to amp up my vegetables. You know what? I had some Tootsie Rolls today. I'm going to give myself some slack because I ate some Tootsie Rolls and an Entenmann's pound cake, which was really good. And I haven't had that since I was a kid. So it was delightful. But again, that mindfulness and giving yourself grace to be able to allow the process of everything. Also, do you know what sulfrago frequencies are? It is like 528 hertz. So I wrote these things down because I didn't want to forget. 528 hertz is transformation and miracles. 639 hertz, connecting relationships. 852 hertz, balanced spirituality. And 963 hertz, divine consciousness and enlightenment. Those are my top ones that I love, but you can actually look up, there are like 9 or more different sulfrago frequencies that you can listen to. I look them up on like YouTube and everything, but I love those frequencies because it does help. And that's your intention, right? You live with intention. What's your intention waking up in the morning? Today's a good day for a good day. Doing gratitude like Alara does. That's a beautiful way to raise your vibration and start the day, right? You don't wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I got this, that, and the other thing. Let's switch it around. What am I grateful for today? What am I going to tackle today? Just keep it at a couple of things so you don't feel overwhelmed. And then you wind up doing that, because I tend to procrastinate out of fear of not doing it right or actually getting it done. That is me. I procrastinate out of fear. I will say it right now. So I will write it down. So I like to cross things off a list. It makes me feel accomplished. Even if it's just, I did laundry today. I was able to do this out in the garden today, because I'm limited as to how many things I can do. I normally don't use that verbiage because I'm on a healing journey. So you always mind what you say, just like you try and mind what you think as well. So I am on a healing journey. And I always say, I love that I'm able to do more and more each and every day. I love that I have so much energy and life within this being to share with the world. All these different things. I know that was like a lot thrown at you. So what are your thoughts, Alara? Did I miss something? You want to add something?
No, I thought that was great. Yeah, no, there was a lot of information there, but all really important, all really relevant. And yeah, definitely talking to your body, talking to your mind as well is key, right? But talking in a loving way, right? And definitely accepting who you are now, as at the same time as accepting who you were then. I mean, we can't just love each other, love who we were then and beat ourselves up for who we are now. That is not going to help you make any transformation. You know, I always talk about accept who you are, where you are in this moment. And from that space of acceptance, then you can make changes, because otherwise you're just going to beat yourself up and create resistance, and regret is the word that's coming up over and over again. So definitely, you know, we all go through different phases. I also, for me too, it's like my hair. It's like we were looking through pictures the other day. My daughter was going through her phone looking at all the pictures, and she's like, Mom, look at your hair here. Mom, look at your hair here. Mom, look at your hair here. Yeah, lots of changes. Right. So lots of changes. So, you know, allow the changes for what feels right for you in the moment. Right. Everything is great. Everything is good. Allow yourself to be, allow yourself, your body to also receive your appreciation. It does so much for us, right? It carries us on this journey that we're having, right? Supporting us, carrying us, there's just so much that it does that we don't even acknowledge. So yeah, I always say, thank you, body, for putting up with me. You know, thank you for still being here with me, because I know I've put you through a lot, right? So acknowledging your body, being grateful. Again, when we talk about being grateful, it's not about finding something to be grateful for. There's always something to be grateful for. You know, there's every little thing is not, I don't like to use the word lessons, but in everything, there is a gift and a blessing. And everything is teaching you something, showing you something about yourself. Even your body is showing you something about yourself that you need to pay attention to, learn, listen, etc. So it is a process. You know, Kristen has said that many times, and it's so true. It is a process. This life is a process. Your growth, your expansion, your, you know, everything is a process. Nothing happens like that, unfortunately. Even if you have like a spontaneous, miraculous awakening, again, it'll be a process for you to integrate all of that as well, right? Yeah, so absolutely wonderful information. If anybody has any questions, again, we are going to be taking some questions in just a minute, but you can type your questions in the chat or you can raise your hand. So before we get to the questions, Kristen, I'm just going to talk about your package. Basically, it's a session with Kristen, and we'll talk about that, as well as an MP3, that a meditation, guided meditation. I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. Like I said, this is really short, so please just bear with me for 1 minute as I find this. Oh, hold on. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. So basically, it's a 60-minute personal reading session with Kristen and a bonus crystal bed meditation. So Kristen, I'm going to let you basically explain a little bit about the personal readings, and we're going to, I guess, you know, have a taste of that in just a minute as well, right?
Yes. So I love this so much. So my sessions are their own animal. It is whatever you need at that time. Some people will specifically book maybe certain things. They need life, situation, guidance, that type of thing. But whatever comes through at that time, maybe it's mediumship and stuff from your guides to help with life situations. That's what you need to hear at that time, and bring forward different messages from your team. So you have tools in your tool belt how to navigate life. It's always interesting, amazing, and beautiful what comes forward each individual session, because it's whatever you need at that time.
Absolutely. And then there's the bonus crystal bed meditation, which is going to assist you in cleansing the energy centers as well as receiving clarity on your next steps. A lot of us, that's what we struggle with. I know I don't like to use the word, but having clarity, right? People want clarity on their next steps. And so this meditation will assist you with that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So again, Kristen's package, 111, there's a payment plan available. And of course, if you are an Inner Circle member, please do use your gift code as well. Okay. So let's take some questions and or mini readings. Mini, and I'm gonna say that again. Mini.
Yes, I know. I'm so bad. If you listen, I attached I call it woo-woo chat. And I said flat out in this live that I was doing that I was doing readings for people. I'm like, this is Kristen, this is me. I don't just pull one card. I'm going to pull 5 for you, because you know what? I can do that. But here I need to be more mindful. So hold space for me, people. Let me get through this.
Yes. And, and I just want to honor Kristen as well. Please just no curiosity questions. Please have something specific. We don't want to take up too much of Kristen's time. She's already doing such a big, effort for us by being here, considering everything that she is going through, right? So let's honor her by asking one specific question, okay, please? I know I'm saying this over and over again because I know some of you will not want to ask only one. You want to ask more. So I'm gonna try and be a little strict. Let's go with one. All right, we're gonna go. So we have a few people with their hand raised. All right, so Manisha, I'm just going with who's here first. Manisha, go ahead. I'm hearing something.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, how are you? You look so beautiful.
Well, you look amazing too. Hello, Alara.
Hi, Manisha.
I just wanted to say I've had an amazing personal session with Kristen in the past, which was mind-blowing. So anyone considering, please take up Kristen's personal session. There's so many nuggets, and I had a lot of specific questions, and I received so many amazing answers, and a lot of the things that Kristen said would happen did happen. So just wanted to say thank you, Kristen, for my session.
Thank you.
Kristen, very quickly, I would love some guidance. I've been getting a lot of answers, and Lara knows, just to surrender. Is that a message that you're getting? Everything is divine timing and just surrender.
Yes, I'm actually being told to show you with my pendulum, because your guides are like, Manisha likes a visual. It's not just someone else saying something. We're going to show a visual. So they're showing you my no, and they're showing what is my yes. And I thank you so much. So ask your question one more time, Manisha.
Everything going on in my life, is it because of divine timing, and I've been asked to surrender? Am I being asked to surrender? Sorry.
100% yes. Remember, trust the guidance that you're getting. Trust your intuition. You know more than you realize. Your inner compass is on point. It's just the questioning of the self. And remember the frequencies. Remember, it's not about worthiness. Why isn't this happening? Is this not going to happen? They're saying just give yourself love and grace in that moment. Take a moment, sit for a moment, and reset and recharge by just your breath. Just even if it's do 3 breaths, and if you want to do 5, because 5 means positive change. So they're showing the number 3 for you and the number 5 for you for positive change. But you breathe in the light. You breathe in that beautiful light, whatever you see, that platinum energy. You breathe in source, that love, and you breathe out all the heaviness by letting out a sigh. So breathe in the light, all by your intention, just to reset and recharge yourself. And you're like, I got this, because everything is happening for you, not to you. That is what they're saying. It is for you, not to you. You are right where you are meant to be in this now moment.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you, Alara.
Awesome.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Manisha. So that means trusting as well, right? Surrendering and trusting. Yes, it's a big lesson for sure. All right, Sarah, you want to unmute yourself?
Sarah.
Thank you so much. Hi. I've just been running in circles after this injury and having setbacks and exhaustion, not knowing quite what to do. I have a birthday this Sunday, and those have been conflicted for me for years because I seem to spend them all alone. And I wonder if there's a message for me about this next go round, about the sun or the situation I am in now.
Okay. Let me sit for just a moment. I feel that we have had this discussion before, Sarah, but your guides are saying, please remember, and if it feels divinely right within your being. I know the mind goes in different circles of what was, what you want to be, what should be, where I want to be at, where should I be at, where can I be at, all these different things that our ego says to us. It's like giving a lollipop to your ego, giving a lollipop to a kid to, all right, mommy's going to go shopping, so here's a lollipop. That's, the guides will say that to me, giving a lollipop to your ego so that you can relax and redirect. So it's all about redirection. Doing things that seemingly are counterproductive. Go back to your creativity, creating with your jewelry and all of those different things, doing things that bring you joy, because we cannot see the forest through the trees. So it's about, and they're saying music fills your soul. Music fills your soul, and they are asking you to bring that forward as well, because music is healing for you and in turn heals others as well. It helps to raise your vibration, so you become that frequency match to receive more of that guidance that you are so in tune with. So they're saying it's just redirecting and re-navigating, and they're saying we might sound like we are on repeat with these messages. However, it is so important to redirect, because when you're looking for your keys, oh my gosh, I can't find them. You're forcing, you're looking. We never find them. And where are they? Right in front of your face. So when we redirect and go to things that bring us joy, we find that everything we need comes right to us. So remember, release any and all expectations as well. Don't go by what happened in the past, all of that. Release expectations to allow your best, most highest good to come forward for you as well. But I really feel a lot of music. So a lot more singing, a lot more communing with people, that type of thing, because it gets that feeling of community for you as well. When you're working with others too, and doing your songs with people and everything. So that feels very important. That's the energy that comes forward.
Okay, I have felt like I should be doing my sound therapy on myself more, and I'll take my instruments out. Having an audience, well, I'm hooking up with somebody who's from the Global Sound Institute who's having healers offered. I don't want to take any more time. Thank you. Love to see you.
Very
looking
good.
so well.
See, you already knew it. You already knew it. It's just validation.
Okay, so next year, more music.
More music.
Yeah,
Happy
awesome.
birthday.
Yes, exactly. Happy birthday, Sarah. I hope I'll remember on Sunday, but if not, happy birthday now. I'll remember.
What I'm asking for my birthday are blessings for next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. On the way.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, we're gonna go to Pat. Pat, you wanna unmute yourself?
Hi, Pat.
Hi, Kristen. Thank you, Kristen and Alara, for this opportunity today. And Kristen, much love and prayers for you and your beautiful heart.
Thank you. Thank you.
If there's something that comes up for me, I'd like to hear it. I love trusting you and your judgment and what comes up. If not, I have a backup question just for the sake of time.
All right. Oh, did I freeze? There we go. Okay, I froze for just a moment, but I heard you. All right, so let me sit for just a moment through the energies. Really interesting because Pat, as you were talking, whatever this means for you, but I see a lot of birds. So I don't know if the birds are singing, you notice something with birds, but birds. So let me ask for the message because I just see so many birds.
I flip a lot of birds, but no specific.
Let's keep this PG, Pat. Okay. They're showing me something in the lower back. They show me in the lower back. And you have done, first and foremost, your guides want to celebrate you. They want to celebrate you. And I feel a lot of emotion coming up with this, but I'm too happy to cry right now because they want to celebrate all the work that you've done. So never feel that you are stuck in this now moment. If you are feeling stuck, do not. That feeling of being stuck is we always feel like we should be in forward motions, or what your guides are saying. We always need to, okay, I need to see results. Okay, this is what I want to do and I need to see results because you're organized in that manner. And your guides are saying, celebrate where you are right now in this moment. Because when you look back a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, more than that, look at how far you have come. And how beautiful and amazing your soul is. And just relish and be in that place, reset and recharge. And then ask, what direction do I need to go in now? And it seems like, because they're saying okay, now I need to go here. Now I need to go here. They're like, be in a spot for a little bit. So you can really feel the emotion in that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I've been mindful to do that. And getting back with what you were saying before about working with others, is that I've been noticing that, which you alluded to, is that I'm presented with individuals to coach and help and assist that provide me insight, because I've noticed that when I provide some insight and some direction and some support, it's words to them to help them, but it's words that I need in that divine timing exactly at that point. So I've been trying to be much more mindful of that
Yes.
thought, and that really connected when you mentioned that.
When you heal yourself, you heal others. When you heal others, you heal yourself. It's just that work, but they're celebrating you and all the work and everything that you're doing. So don't feel like you're stagnant or stuck by any means. And you know what? The birds might be a premonition. And what I've noticed is that a premonition feels very different. And I didn't recognize what it was. And Amanda and I, who's here, we were talking about this. I just got that feeling, and I looked over at Amanda. So the birds might be a premonition. So please message me, Pat, because I see birds. So whatever that means, if that comes forward tomorrow, a week, a month, please let me know.
I will. Thank you very much. Always appreciate
see
it.
you.
And most certainly, if anybody's on the fence about getting with you and your insights, please take advantage of this awesome offer and talk to my buddy Kristen. Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you,
a
Pat.
lot.
Thank
Good
you,
to
Pat.
see you.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna go to Autumn. Autumn, when you wanna unmute yourself?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Autumn.
Okay. I was just wondering if you could tell me, like, if you have any insight about a particular guide that I should be trying to be in touch with or whatever.
Ooh, I love that, Kristen. Okay, give me just a moment so I can get the energy. Ooh. I feel very buzzy in your energy, Autumn. That's okay. I'm just getting excited. So let me sit for just a moment. I hear light language coming through. Are you familiar with what light language is, Autumn?
Sort of. I don't like
Okay.
speak any or understand any at all.
Okay. I hear it feels like guides saying it. It's very clear. So if you start singing, if you're listening to someone else that's speaking any kind of light language, I feel that that's going to come up down the road for you, or you might hear it, something like that. It feels very powerful. So let me sit for just a moment. Okay, so definitely a lot of angelic presence that's forward, and I'm asking, there's a shadow that I see that hasn't stepped forward more, but a lot of archangel. Okay, you're galactic. Who are you? Pleiadian energy is very much forward too. They say, we thank you for being so open, and we thank you for being so kind. So I don't know what your words are with them, but they say, we thank you for being so kind. Yes, you are worthy. A connection with Orion as well. So a lot of Pleiadian, a lot of angel, archangel energy as well. And they're talking about, because I want to make sure I'm mindful of the time, but the one thing that they're talking about, there are the archangels of sacred protection. You can call them forward for divine protection just throughout your day, just to help your beautiful energy, because I feel your energy, and it is beautiful. I got like the chills and like this electric static, which is telling me that you're also very clairsentient. You have that empathic ability, very much a feeler. So to protect your energy, they're actually clapping and saying you do very well. But you can call upon the archangels of sacred protection. But because this is recorded, it's archangels Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, and Raphael of the four directions, archangel Sandalphon of the below space, and archangel Metatron of the above space, and a beautiful Merkaba triangles of protection that are around you. But all you have to say is, I invoke the archangels of sacred protection, because you are very connected with angelic frequencies, Orion, and there's a Pleiadian being that's coming forward that wants to teach you some things. And this is Pleiadian light language that I'm hearing. So that's really interesting. And I'm like dying to dive into that more, but I'm being mindful. See how good I'm being, Alara? Are you proud of me? I'm kind of proud of myself.
Very, yeah, I'm very proud of you. Thank you,
Well,
Autumn.
thank you.
Hopefully
That's
that makes
amazing.
sense. Awesome. Thank you, Autumn.
And a ladybug. They show me a ladybug for you, Autumn, whatever that means for you. They just did a ladybug. So it might be a sign of a guide. That's what they're saying. It's a sign of a guide. So feel intuitively who that is, and say, if you are the sign of the ladybug for me, just show me a ladybug and just allow it to come forward, because I have guides that come forward, like I'll see a sea turtle or something like that, and I know it's a specific guide. So they're trying to show you different symbols for them so that you can recognize them better. But trust your gut, because you know you're very connected. Trust yourself.
Well, thank you. That's amazing.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Autumn. Yes, good job. There's a question in the chat from a Linda. So not the two Lindas that have their hand raised, but a different Linda. And she's saying, I'm wondering how I might get out of my own way. Much certainty is coming my way, and I'm feeling frustrated in the fact that I don't know or seem unable to get navigation on options of where to go from here. How might I more readily hear and honor my guides and their guidance in this?
Linda, I love this question, and I thank you so much for writing this, because this is a ball of Kristen right here. I was wildly, and it still creeps up. It's not like it 100% goes away. I just know how to navigate it more now. Hold on just a moment, because the guides actually interrupted me and reminded me to cleanse and clear my space. Hold on just a moment. There's a song that's coming forward, Linda, Summer Breeze. I don't know. It's an oldies song. Summer breeze. Na 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 na. Does anyone else know that song? I can't think of the rest of that song, but that song Summer Breeze came forward, whatever that might mean for you. But what they're talking about is, again, as I always say, this is always a process, Linda. So this is just how we navigate the ego and understanding, because the guys are saying, remember that we are two beings. Remember, we are the ego and we are the all-knowing self. So it's giving ourselves grace that we are navigating beautifully and trusting ourselves wherever we're at and loving ourselves wherever we're at. Being able to journal some things as well and being able to do some inner child healing, because I do see Mother Mary that's very much forward. So Mother Mary is forward. I see Yeshua and Mary Magdalene as well. So they are very, very forward for you, Linda, and talking about doing some inner child healing, which there are a lot of options that are out there. I always will Google stuff on YouTube, but you can do a meditation with that intention to heal the inner child, bringing forward and asking Mother Mary for assistance, putting your hands over your heart if you have any kind of stones, especially if it's a rose quartz as well. But allowing these if you do any kind of meditation, they're saying just watch the bubbles of your thoughts float by. And as they float by, send them up to God, send them up to source. So as you see these clouds or these bubbles of your thought that comes up, say, I send them up to God, I release them to you. And it's something that you might have to say many, many times, a day, a second. I promise I've done the same thing and it seemed like I was on repeat saying that, but it's really interesting how they're showing these bubbles go by and you just send them up because they're not yours to create a burden on you. And it just allows you to hold more light as well. Again, redirect, doing things, putting on music, moving the body, things that you can do, go to the breath, anything like that to bring joy in, because it does help raise your vibration so you can see above the trees. So you have that bird's eye view to be able to look down, but know that you're not alone in this, because that's the process of the ego, right? That's the process of the ego where we repeat everything and the shoulda, the coulda, the woulda, and we go in circles about all of it. Linda, does that make sense?
So yeah, Linda, let us know in the chat how that resonates with you. And of course, you know, a lot of these messages or this information that Kristen is sharing with us is we can all resonate with it. We can all use it as well. And it's also relevant for all of us as well. So please do listen to all, you know, the questions that people are asking or the answers that our guides are bringing through. A lot of it is going to help all of us, assist all of us as well. So there's a question in the chat from Sunita. Sunita says, why do I have in the last few years the feeling that I don't have connection with the universe? What can I do to have the trust back?
Oh, Sunita, hello. Okay, let me cleanse and clear my energy.
And I just want to say that is a great, great question. And always remember that you're never disconnected from source. You cannot be ever. But sometimes I have found this in the past myself, so I'm just going to really quickly share that when you feel like you're not connected, or you can't hear your guides or connection with source, etc., that's just your mind, that's just your ego playing with you, saying because you want physical proof or something, some proof that it's actually happening. So the more that you can go back to telling yourself, you know, I choose to trust my connection with the universe. I choose to trust the universe. I choose to trust my higher self. I know that they're with me, etc. They cannot be separate. You are never separate from your higher self and source ever. So that it's always there. But sometimes that there's a gap between how we're feeling and our ego mind level and our spiritual level. There's a little bit of a disconnect. So sometimes it takes time for our physical self to bridge that gap, right? And in that gap, in that space, sometimes we can feel like I'm not connected, which is never possible, but it's just an integration. But I'll let you give her a more another answer, Kristen. Let's see what else
Absolutely.
helps.
I love that. Thank you, Sunita, for asking this question. So tapping into your guides, again, I want to reiterate exactly what Alara said. We are always connected. And I have a lot of emotion coming up with this. Please do not ever think that you are not worthy. You are loved unconditionally, beyond words. They are right there with you, holding your hand every step of the way. It's just our ego gets in the way, saying that we're not worthy, we can't connect, all these different things. Remember, we're also here on Earth. So a lot of times, because the guides are saying right now, you know how we say we want to do self-care so we can reset and charge? They're saying, do some humaning. So when you do some humaning, it resets that, because when we're trying to look and force and where is it, we're not trusting and allowing. So we're blocking ourselves. That's the biggest kicker on this journey. That's the path that we have with this ego. If we all knew this, we'd all be, enlightened and up there with Buddha, right? And Yeshua and all of these beautiful beings. So we're here to learn and navigate. So please give yourself some grace, because this is definitely, again, a process.
And she says, I have it for helping others, but not the rest of the day. So the rest of the day, I mean, it's not like Kristen is, connecting and talking to her guides every single minute of the day. She's doing the humaning as well. Like when she's out there in the garden doing gardening stuff, it's amazing, or working in the renovation in the bathroom, whatever. She's not asking her guides in that moment. She's not talking to them then. She's just focusing on the human aspect. So all the other times when you want to be getting messages for yourself, make yourself the client. Sit down and be the client for yourself, right? I mean, I'll be honest, I do not go around my day constantly thinking about my guides and what they're going to tell me. If I have a question, I'll sit down, take a moment, take a few deep breaths, and then I will say, okay, I have a question about this. I'm not like, I don't know, maybe do people do that? I don't know, but I do not. I don't know.
I will ask questions, but this is the part of how to interpret your wake state. So I will ask a question, and then I might go outside because I have to put shock in the pool, and I turn over and look, for example, because this really does happen. I looked over at this rosemary plant that has been outside in my garden for years on my patio, and I happened to look at it, and this plant gave me information that I needed at that time. It like answered a question I had, and it like, just like I saw that moth, it stopped me in my tracks. It like kind of hit me in the chest, in the heart spaces where I felt it, because I was receiving a download and information that I needed. Because it's about being mindful. We're not forcing anything. We have to allow. And again, if you know the secret of allowing, please share it. I have to do it as a process. And I will always say to myself, Kristen, you're forcing, it's time to trust and allow. And that just means stop forcing it. I have to stop forcing myself to look for that answer and allow it to find you.
And we're always receiving.
Yes.
That's the thing. We're always receiving,
Always.
but we're not aware that we're receiving.
Yes.
Right? I receive when I go for walks with the dogs, absolutely all the time. Or sometimes when I'm sitting down and I'm quiet. So, I'm just sitting down quiet, not really thinking about anything, not really doing anything. I might be watching something, but, I'll get a message, right? So, but it's because I've asked the question at some point and said, what about this? So, it's like, I have a question about this. I'm not sure, but, so it's like, you are just as worthy as your clients are. Right? You have to get that. You are just as worthy as your clients are receiving information, but I don't receive messages 24/7, to be honest. I do not 24/7, but when I need it, it's there. When I really
asking how, it's asking how do I interpret my own messages? Because remember, we all do this differently too. Yeah. So asking, how do I interpret this message? And it is 3:21 right now. So 3-2-1 blast off is how I interpret that. So Sunita, this is definitely for you. 3-2-1 blast off. So trust and allow. It might seem counterproductive where it's like I'm going to put it out there, but ask your guides, how do I interpret the energies? What is it that, sometimes we feel like there's something missing. We're really not, because like Alara said, we are always interconnected. We are always receiving messages. It's just interpreting them, because they're saying right now, you're just missing some things that are being shown to you throughout the day. There's some repetitive patterns that are out there, and they're very excited to have you see them. And it's going to give you like a skip in your step, is what they're telling me. if that
And
makes sense.
I don't receive messages the same way that I do for my clients as I do for myself. It is different.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's different. Yeah. So it's, missing. So yeah, you miss the connection because the connection is different. So
Mhm.
allow yourself to receive in a different way than before.
Mhm. And pull cards for yourself. I pull cards for myself and I get constant validating evidence, and it raises my vibration and it allows me to trust more. And then I see more of the connectedness. I typically will pull cards for myself once a week. Sometimes if I'm having a pity party for myself, a couple of times a week. But you know how you can you're wowed by like the interpretation of the cards, and you have different things that come up. Do it for yourself. I love doing that, because it's like, and there's no one, like if my husband's not home, it's like, there's no one else to tell. This is so cool. And then it just gives me a skip in my step, and it raises your vibration to be able to receive more. You are good, Sunita. You've got all of this. It's just getting back in that dive.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like, we all have this. It's not just Sunita. It's not just Kristen. It's not just me. We all have this, right? But it's sometimes we do have to make that conscious choice of like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to ask a question of my guides, and I'm going to be willing to receive whenever I get it. Like I talk to my guides and source and creator when I'm walking the dogs, absolutely every single time. It does, like it just happened naturally. And what's funny is that people used to say that to me all the time, like psychics and whatever, like they would say, oh, you need to connect with nature. You need to connect with nature. And I was like, no, I don't want to connect with nature. What does that even mean? They were all right. They were all right. Because it's like, it is my easiest way of connection is when I'm out walking the dogs. Downloads, information, everything it just naturally comes through. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. But and so that's the thing, is like, trust that you are always connected, trust that you are always receiving guidance and messages, because you are. Downloads, intuition, etc. You're always receiving. Everybody always is. But are you willing to allow yourself to receive it? Are you willing to allow yourself to integrate it into your being, into your life? Right? Because sometimes, we may not. Our ego, our mind is very to think, right? So in order for me to get messages, I have to slow down my thinking. I can't just think, right? So,
well, you know what happens with me too? I don't know if this has happened, and Sunita, this is coming up for some kind of reason, but when I first started, to me, you go through like this vibrational frequency. You're going through the densities. So mediumship was very, very, very strong and very different for me when I first started on this journey and I first awakened. And now mediumship comes forward a lot different to me than before. And I was trying to force what was, and now I flow with what is. So there's things moving and shifting as we're raising our frequency. We're interacting with spirit a lot differently too. So they're asking you to just be open to that, releasing the expectations, and allow that shift, because you do beautiful work. And I see they're showing me your frequency going up. So there's different interactions that you'll be having, is what they're talking about. So just be open to that too.
Absolutely. So all of that, most of that was for everybody, not just for Sunita, because I thought that was a really relevant question for a lot of people. So that was for everybody, not just for Sunita. But thank you, Sunita, for that question. And thank you, everybody, for all your questions. They were, brilliant. We are running low on time. So I'm going to ask Kristen, any last words of wisdom from the guides, from the angels, from your team, for all of us, as to how we can more easily flow with grace and flow with ease and flow with that communication and intuitiveness with our guides and team.
Absolutely. Okay, let me sit just a moment, because they're talking about humaning right now. So let me get the full message. We ask to meet yourselves where you are at in this now moment, to see how beautiful and how amazing you are, to look back at your times and dates a month ago, a year ago, to see where you were and where you have come to now, how beautiful and amazing and miraculous you are. My dog is now even acting up because she's feeling the energy right now. She's rolling around. So really meeting yourself where you're at. And they're also reminding to bring the joy in your life. Don't think that childhood was something that you once had, they're asking you to bring that back. Bring your childhood back and be the child that you could not have been. Be the child that I know. I love my childhood. So be that child that I loved and that I once was. So bring that back now. Be silly. Step on the leaves. Do hopscotch and jump around out there. Whatever it might be, play with the dogs. Be silly. Be goofy. Be childlike. Be around children to see the joy and the light in their eyes. You know how they can stub their toe and be just so distraught in pain, and then they're like, oh, look at this ladybug, mom, look what I made for you. All these different things, they just seeing through a child's eyes. They're saying, see through a child's eyes, raise your vibration, be in that love and that joy, and know that you are divinely, infinitely loved beyond a doubt. And they're talking about something coming. They're like, something is coming that is really going to shift massively. I don't know why they're saying this, but you know how channeling goes, right? Alara, they're saying something about the UFOs and having our galactic friends be more well known. So that is something that is very much coming forward a lot more into the light now, which was once shoved in the dark is now coming more to the light. Please trust yourself in the visions that you're getting, because a lot of you are also getting visions of galactic beings that we can't categorize, a lot of hybrid type of beings as well. You know, you can look up Pleiadians and all of that, but now it's getting to the point where we're really starting to channel, and there are way more beings out there that we can't categorize. So really trust yourself, because all of this is coming to light and fruition, and just be in the joy. Be in the joy.
Yes, absolutely. Trust yourself and be in the joy. Yeah, thank you. And thank you everybody for all your questions and comments and feedback. I just wanted to share, Amanda had written in the chat, she said, I highly recommend Kristen's sessions, amazing insights and guidance, and she was able to bring through messages from my nonverbal twins with autism. So that's amazing, absolutely. And so a lot of people have, you know, mentioned, recommended Kristen's sessions, so please do take a look at the special offer page. Again, it's a 60-minute personal session plus an MP3 meditation. For $111, the payment plan is available. And of course, if you're an Inner Circle member, please do use your gift code. And of course, we're so grateful that you were able to be here with us, Kristen, and that you were not nauseous, and that you're feeling, I mean, you're such a high vibe, you know, energy, and you're just glowing. And so we're so grateful that you are doing well, and you were able to share your wisdom with us and your gifts, right? Your gifts of channeling, of mediumship, of just connecting with your team. Yeah, it was beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. I always love being in your presence, having the interaction, and all of you are amazing. And I thank you for listening to my story and being so open with your hearts, because I feel your energy, and I thank you for that.
Oh, beautiful. And your dog's been with us the whole time. So wonderful to see him in the back. It's a wonderful, wonderful energy. Yes. Oh my goodness.
She's like, I eat in 30 minutes, Ma.
Yeah, he's getting hungry. He's really chewing that toy there.
Yes, Pat. Time.
All right, everyone. So we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time, 3 p.m. Eastern, with Elizabeth Wood. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. And until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Please go back and watch or listen to this again. So much wisdom, so many gifts, so much information. So again, please do that. All right, everyone. Thank you. Much love and blessings. Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alara. Much love to you.
Thank you. You too.